Today we're going to learn about the proof of the midpoint formula. So before we start this proof, we're going to have to know what the midpoint is. So let's say we have this line segment AB. The midpoint of this line segment would be C, and it would basically be where AC, so this would be equal to CB, this part of the line segment. And so finding the midpoint on the coordinate axis has a formula, but today we're going to learn how to prove that formula. So first, when we start this proof, we have to divide our proof into two different sections. One for the x value and one for the y value. So let's start the x value first. So first what we're going to do is we're going to try and divide the x value between a and b into 2. So like let's say like this. So this would be the x value of AB, like the x length. It would be x2 minus x1, right? Between A and B. And so we have to wonder where would C be? C would be in between this. So the length from A to C along the x-axis would be x2 minus x1 over 2. So AC along the x-axis equals x2 minus x1 by 2. And so some people would be tempted to say that this would be our formula, but we have to remember that there's also a portion over here, or a portion over here, um, like the value from the y, or the length from the y-axis to a, and that's x1. So cx, the x value of c, would be acx, x2 minus x1 by 2 plus x1, which is the x value of a. And this would be equal to x2 plus x1 over 2. And so this is what we got for the x value of c. So h would be equal to x2 plus x1. Now we have to find the y value. And let me just circle this. So for the y value, we would have to do basically the same process but along the y-axis. Um, so what would the distance from B to A be along the y-axis? Well, it would be y2 minus y1. So BA along the y-axis is equal to y2 minus y1. So using the same logic, we can say that AC along the y-axis is equal to y2 minus y1 over 2 because it is in between A and B, halfway in between, so we divide it by half. And then also we can't forget that there's also a y value from the x-axis to A, and that's equal to y1. So CY would be equal to y2 minus y1 over 2 plus y1. So CY would be equal to y2 plus y1 over 2. So now we know that the formula of the midpoint of 2 points, x1 and y1, is x2 plus x1 over 2, comma y2 plus y1 over 2 in parentheses. So this formula is really important for finding the midpoint of 2 points, and it's also really important because instead of having to do this entire proof, you can do it really quickly. And there's another variation of this where you can find, like, let's say here it's 1:1, like AC is equal to CB. We can also use this proof to find, let's say, if AC is 3 times CB, and I will do that in a later video. So memorize this formula right now, and I'm going to give you some example problems to test. Go ahead and pause the video and find what C is, where C is the midpoint of A and B, and oopsie. let me move this back, where C is the midpoint of A and B, and A is A is 1, 2, and B is 3, 5. Pause the video and try and solve this, and I'll go over the answer in a few seconds. So the way we would solve this problem would be we would try and use the formula to our advantage. So we know two things. We know the 2 points, or we actually know three things. We know the 2 points are 1 and 2 and 3 and 5, and we also know that C is in between A and B, which basically is telling us that this is a midpoint. So we can use the midpoint formula here. And if we remember correctly, the midpoint formula is the average of the two x values, so x1 plus x2. Here x1 is 1 and x2 is 3, so 1 plus 3 by 2, that's the x value, comma, the y value is, or 5 plus 2 by 2, the average of the y values, like this, and so we get 2 comma 7 by 5, or 7 by 2, sorry. So if you got this, good job. Now I'm going to give you a difficult problem that I won't solve today, but it will be featured in a future video. And if you can solve it, put your answer in the comment section and give me how you did it. So the challenge question for today will be, if A is 1 comma 1 and B is 7 comma 4, what will C be if AC is to BC is proportional to 1 is to 2. So basically, the length of AC is half of the length of CB. So this problem, instead of using the midpoint formula, I would recommend trying to solve this using the proof and taking into account the different proportionality. Because in the midpoint formula, the proportionality is 1 is to 1. Here, the proportionality is 1 is to 2. So take that into account when you solve this. If you get your answer, put it in the comment section. Please like and subscribe, and good luck.